Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rarsa Maribi. On this channel, I film content about my life as a PhD candidate in the United States. I also create content about sustainability education, which you can find on the Sustainability Nuggets playlist. I'm filming this video on Thanksgiving Day, year 2022, so I'd like to tell everyone Happy Thanksgiving. We all have something to be grateful for. You can leave in the comment section what you're most grateful for. Over the summer of 2022, I worked as a sustainability consultant, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you how I got that role and how you can also get that role. So keep on watching. So there are several sustainability related internships available in several companies, but as for me, I got accepted into the EDF Climate Corps Fellowship for summer 2022. EDF, the Environmental Defense Fund, is one of the leading non-profit environmental organizations. EDF Climate Corps is a unique fellowship where EDF gets to train and match top-tier graduate students with host organizations and companies to help advance their environmental goals. As a student interested in working in the sustainability industry, this fellowship helps you to launch your environmental career and build professional network. It also enables you gain real-world experience in the sustainability industry and enables you make a difference by helping catalyze change that benefits both the organizations and the environment as a whole. As a fellow, there are several types of sustainability projects you can work on, and they are divided into zero emissions vehicles, climate commitment, food and agriculture, and renewables and energy efficiency. So based on your interests, you can work on any of this type of projects. As for application process, there are two application deadlines. One is November 30th, that's the initial deadline, and the next one is in January 11th. So you can apply by any of these deadlines yearly, but I'll advise that you apply for the first deadline, which is November 30th, so that you move further along in the process and also get more options for host organizations to choose if you get to the last stage of the interview or of the process. So before we continue, I'd like to point out that all relevant links will be left in the description box and in the comment section, so check those if you want to see links to the websites. For me, I applied last year, 2021, by the November 30th deadline. So that's the first deadline. So the application is pretty straightforward. They ask about yourself, your interests. At a point in the application process, they ask you what type of project you're most interested in. They ask you to rank them. They ask you your location preference, but they also ask for a resume, which is standard in most application process, a cover letter, and at least 3 references. So in your cover letter, you really need to show why you like to do some sustainability related jobs. So I'll say, why are you passionate about sustainability? You should highlight it in your cover letter. What work have you done in relation to this, your passion? So is there a specific project you've worked on, or specific classes to build your skills in sustainability? You should highlight it. They really look for project management skills, so it will be very important to highlight a project that you have actually carried on from scratch till the end. And lastly, in the cover letter, you should highlight how this fellowship would actually benefit you. For me, it was really about launching my environmental career, putting my leg in the door when it comes to sustainability consulting. So as for your references, they want at least one to be your supervisor. Since this fellowship is purely for graduate students, they want someone that is currently working with you to testify. So you can use your current supervisor in grad school or your professor in grad school, and the 2 others can be professional references. As for me, I used the 3 were professors, so 2 of them were my supervisors, and the 3rd was my professor from my master's degree. As for the references, you provide them at the time of your application, like the email address of your referees, but they do not send out the request. They only send out this request when you've moved on to the next stage. So you just need to provide their emails, and if you make it to the next stage, then they'll request the recommendation letter from your referees. So if you move to the next stage, you'll be invited for a case interview. So like I said, I applied by the deadline November 30th, sometime December 12th or 20th, sometime like that. I was contacted that I had moved on to the next stage, which included the case interview, and I had to schedule a date in January. So you see, that's why it's more advised to apply by November 30th, because before January, the first set of people who moved to the next stage were already chosen, right? So I chose a date in January for my interview. So in the first interview, like I said, it was a case interview, but I had about 45 to 60 minutes to discuss my background, skill sets, and experiences as it relates to the EDF Climate Corps, and I was also asked to discuss and analyze a case study. So beforehand, 3 case studies are provided to you to revise, and you're asked to choose one which you discuss during your case interview. You're not meant to tell them which one you've chosen beforehand, but during the interview, you just mention that you choose a particular case and you have to analyze that case. So by case, they give you real world scenarios in like the sustainability industry. They probably pick past projects, maybe of a city that was trying to electrify their bus fleets, or maybe a company that was trying to meet net zero emissions. So they give you a scenario and ask you to discuss and analyze it, to tell them how you would actually go through that process if you were the one leading that project. So you have it to practice beforehand, so it's a good thing. And during the interview, you discuss that case. By January 13th, I was already notified that I had advanced to the final interview stage. And this final interview was meant to just discuss your preference as per project wise. However, in mine, I was thrown about like 2 or 3, I think about 2, what I like to call mini case studies. So in this case, I was not given beforehand. I was just asked by my interviewer, like she explained the scenario and asked what I'll do in that process. So if you've practiced properly for the first interview, this should be a walkthrough. And as long as you know the right terms and right solutions when it comes to sustainability, you should be able to give your scenarios and also think about it like in a project management way. If you guys would like me to make a video discussing strategies on approaching case interviews as it relates to sustainability consulting, please do leave it down in the comment section. So once your final interview is done, you wait for instructions and links to the portal where you get to choose your host organization. So they give us 5 options to choose. So there are several host organizations ranging from Google, Apple, Amazon, a lot of them. And you see a list of the projects that they want to bring on an intern for. So you get to choose what company and which project. For me, I was looking at the companies. I was choosing companies based on the project. I was interested in renewables and energy efficiency. So I looked through companies offering those type of projects, and that's how I was able to choose. So I chose 5 and I was matched with 1 at the end of the day. I was matched with a manufacturing company. It's called NicePack, and in there I was enlisted to help set their energy reduction target in line with their science-based targets. So I did a lot of energy efficiency, energy audits, identifying energy efficiency projects, and also conducting some financial analysis like cost investment, payback period. And at the end of the day in that project, I actually helped create a roadmap for them to reduce energy consumption and actually improve their energy efficiency by about 50% by 2030. So I was matched about February 24th, and then went through my onboarding process with my host organization supervisor and EDF also through the months of between February to about April, May. In May, I participated in the 1 week EDF Climate Corps Fellows training, where they train us on general concepts of sustainability, like what every one of us needs to know while going into the fellowship. But also there were special sessions for our special projects. So like me, renewables and energy efficiency. Some people were in the zero emissions vehicle sessions. So they gave us a rundown of specific skill sets we can apply in our job. So yeah, that was my process. If you're interested in such type of internship, your first step should be to submit an application. You can submit by November 30th or January 11th. So go ahead and put in the application, and hopefully you move further in the process and go through the interviews. So I hope this was helpful. If you need a follow-up video, please do let me know. And if you like content like this, professional development, scholarships, just helpful content as it relates to your career and like graduate school, please do subscribe. And like I said, I also have a sustainability nugget podcast where I mostly interview like CEOs and government officials about like various policies affecting climate change, and also about various innovations in the climate space. So please do follow the podcast, where you can find it on all podcast audio listening platforms, and it's also on this channel as the Sustainability Nuggets podcast playlist. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.